You know what this name means? Legendary. Hey everybody, Lucas Welsh here, and I'm bringing you yet another little bit of a review. I don't know if you can actually do a review on an old item. Is that something that can be done? Whatever the case, I'll call it a review. Okay, overview, review, somewhere in there. What we have here, folks, is an LG1 or an LG0. An LG0. Now, the LG series guitars, kind of a small body, Gibson guitar. There was an LG0, an LG1, and an LG2. Okay? The LG0 being kind of the economy version, all mahogany, ladder braced, a little bit cheaper appointments. So the gears, these are plastic, very plain tuners. They're not the greatest. Not going to lie. I would probably opt to change these out. Real simple, bare bones kind of a guitar. But they sound good. What can I say? I'm a sucker for like a small body. Like these are kind of akin to like I think these are actually like the precursor to the B25. And then Epiphone, they did a kind of a different model on that as well. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, kind of as a bit of a Spanish Mexican kind of flair to it, the name. Anyway, and then the LG1 and the LG2 were the a little bit nicer appointed guitars. The LG1 being a ladder braced guitar, spruce top, and the LG2 being an X braced guitar. That's the basics of it. Okay, there was different this or that in the 40s. Some of them had the banner logo, some of them didn't. It's the Gibson thing, right? But these little LGOs are deadly. Okay, this one came in for a little bit of distortion happening in the top, and it wasn't really as bad when I first looked at it. I was like, ooh, but it's not quite as bad as I initially thought. The tops on these had quite a radius to begin with, so that throws people off a little bit right away when they're looking at it, going, "Oh, geez, that top is really bellied or really warped." They had a quite a radius to them. I can't remember exactly what it is right off the top of my head, but there is a fair chunk of radius. What these didn't have is they don't have any support in here outside of the lateral braces. There's nothing in around the sound hole here, and when this kind of shifts forward, it almost like it wants to crinkle a little bit, and that's what this guitar was doing. And what I simply did is I just cut a couple braces, mahogany. I use mahogany. That's what the top was. I cut a couple mahogany little braces here and ran them perpendicular in there with a pretty nice fit between this brace and the one just behind the sound hole. And the only other thing that this guitar really needed was the bridge plate was pretty torn out. This thing has a big bridge plate. Beefy. Okay, and it looks like spruce. I'm not gonna it looks like if that's anything but spruce, it's the straightest grain maple I have ever seen. It's not maple, it's spruce. So anyway, I didn't change it out. At first I was going to change it out and do the whole thing. That reinforcement is like 70% of the width of the top of the guitar here. It's a big beefy. It's not super thick, but it's big and beefy. But anyway, the bottom was torn out of it. And what I did is I made a maple reinforcement patch to go under the bottom of it. So, just whatever it was, 20 mil wide. And these two pearl dots actually hide screws, bolts that hold the bridge down, as well as glue, of course. So I made it so that the plate that I made actually fit the screws and was bolted under the screws. So it gives even those bolts a little bit firmer piece of wood to grab onto. And then just re-drilled these, reamed them out. It actually really made a big difference because the bridge pins were really wanting to pop out because the bottom was so chewed out. So that's yeah, that's that. Stumac makes a tool for kind of carving out a conical shape into the bottom so that you can make a plug and glue a plug in, re-drill it, and do all the things. And that's an awesome option. It's a $400 tool that I don't have. So anyway, deadly little guitar. We're sitting at about 2.5 mils on the action at the 12th fret, so it's a little tickle stiffer maybe than your typical folk. Then I would set up your folk guitar. And the only thing that this guitar really has that's wrong with it is this is bent. And it's missing a screw in the pickguard. Which, whatever. I mean, it doesn't make any noise. It's tight. And try and find a black slotted head screw. I don't have one of those in my tickle trunk. So, because this is if this was anything but old plastic, I might have tried to straighten this. I might have went to the trouble and taken it off. But like I said, these tuners they're not good. Okay, they are bottom of the barrel. So ultimately, the best fix to this would be to get some modern tuners, 3 on a side that there's all kinds of options, and that would probably be the best option. And I may still try and see if the customer would like to do that, because I think that would be the nicest upgrade this guitar could have yet. So, but I know what you're all waiting for: sound. New strings. I like these ladder brace guitars. I love the tone that they have. It's a little bit out of tune here now, but she's a boomer. This thing has got some she's got the volume if you lay into it a little bit, but what do you need to? It's so sweet. Deadly. This thing does sport a I don't know if we can catch some of that beautiful Brazilian rosewood fretboard grain in the camera. Probably not with my up here. It gets quite nice up around 12. I'm going to go out on a limb, and it's hard to say. This fretboard has basically seen no playing. I don't think this guitar was played a whole lot. I think it was, it's got some interesting little dings here and there. Overall though, it's in really nice shape. All original. I believe it's all original. The only thing I'm skeptical of is the frets. I kind of want to feel like these frets have maybe been changed. Just if they haven't, they're brand new. Like there's no flat spots, no nothing. I went over everything. I scraped down. There was a lot of hand goo on the fretboard, but I just scraped that down, and then I used some 4/0 steel wool just to buff up the frets a little bit. They were kind of tarnished, and a little shot of boiled linseed oil on that fretboard just to bring her back up a little tickle, and otherwise I just dusted it off, man. She's a beaut. Anyway, there you go. Gibson LG0, ladder braced, all mahogany, Brazilian fingerboard. I'm not sure about the bridge. They kind of used a hand, whatever was that hand for some of their bridges there, I think. So that doesn't look like Brazilian rosewood to me. I'm not 100% sure. So cheers.